Hello, my rubber hearts. Today we are opening a Toolbox episode about something every rubber technologist uses constantly, but rarely stops to explain: PHR, or parts per 100 rubber. If you open almost any rubber formulation, you will see something like this: natural rubber 100, carbon black 50, oil 10, sulfur 1.5, accelerator zero point 0.8. Everything is written in PHR. And for someone new to rubber compounding, that can be confusing because it does not look like percentages and it does not look like grams either. So today we're going to explain what PHR actually means, why the industry adopted it, and how you convert it when you need to. Let's start with the meaning. PHR stands for parts per 100 rubber. The key word here is rubber. It does not mean parts per 100 compound. It means that the amount of every ingredient is expressed relative to 100 parts of the base rubber or rubber blend. So when you see a formulation that starts with something like natural rubber 100, carbon black 50, oil 10, what that means is that for every 100 units of rubber, you add 50 units of carbon black and 10 units of oil. Those units could be grams, kilograms, or tons. The ratio stays the same. That is the beauty of the system. PHR is not tied to any particular batch size. It is purely a formulation ratio system. Now, you might ask, why did the rubber industry end up using PHR instead of percentages? The answer is historical and practical. Rubber formulations almost always start with a defined amount of polymer, and everything else is added relative to that polymer. Reinforcing fillers, oils, curatives, antioxidants, processing aids, everything is designed to interact with the rubber network. If you express the recipe as percentages of the final compound, every time you change one ingredient, all the percentages would shift slightly. That would make formulations harder to compare and adjust. PHR solves this problem. By fixing the rubber at 100 parts, the polymer becomes the reference point. Every other ingredient simply expresses how much is added relative to the rubber phase. It also makes formulation work easier. If a compound is too stiff, you might say increase oil by 2 PHR. If reinforcement is too low, increase carbon black by 5 PHR. The polymer reference stays stable while the rest of the formulation moves around it. This system dates back to early rubber compounding practices in the first half of the 20th century, when formulations were developed empirically and scaled up from lab batches to factory mixers. Using parts per 100 rubber allowed chemists to communicate recipes across different batch sizes without recalculating everything each time. Now, here's something important to remember. If a formulation contains more than one polymer, the 100 parts refers to the total rubber content. For example, if you have a blend of natural rubber and SBR, you might see something like NR60, SBR40. Together, they equal 100 parts of rubber. Every other ingredient in the formulation is calculated relative to that combined rubber content. Now, let's talk about something that people often need to do in practice: converting PHR into other units. Sometimes you want to express a formulation as percentages. Sometimes you want to calculate the exact weight of each ingredient for a mixer batch. I'm going to walk you through the step-by-step conversion from PHR to percentages and from PHR to batch weights so that you can see exactly how it's done. Here you can see a model formulation based on SBR polymer. Since it's a single polymer system, the amount of SBR is 100. All other ingredients are those based on the polymer amount, which is the reference. If you want to convert the PHR formulation to percentages, calculate the sum of the PHR parts and divide it by 100. The result becomes your conversion factor. Each ingredient amount must be divided by the factor to get the amount in percentage. So 100 PHR SBR becomes 39.761% of the total amount, and so on. To convert from PHR to a batch amount, for example 160 kg, again you take the sum of PHR and divide it by the final batch weight, in our case 160. The result is again your factor, so you divide the individual PHR amounts by the factor to get the amount in kg necessary for your batch. In this case, you must use 63.618 kgs of SBR, 57.156 kgs of N660, and so on, in order to have a compound with the same proportion of ingredients. If you need to go the other way around, when you have the rubber formulation in percentages or batch weight and want to understand the proportion of ingredients in PHR, you have to calculate your factors based on the rubber amount. If you have the formulation expressed in percentage and want to convert to PHR, the 39.761% of SBR from our example must be 100 in PHR. Now remember, if you have a blend of polymers, the sum of polymer percentages must be converted to 100. So in our example, we divide 100 by the polymer percentage to get our factor, and then we multiply each individual ingredient percentage by the factor to get to the PHR amounts. We will link in the comments the Excel shown here so you can use it as a base and do your own calculations if you need to. Once you understand that rubber is fixed at 100 parts and everything else is scaled relative to that, those conversions become very straightforward. And this is why the system has survived for so long. Even though the Mooney viscometer looks old and stubborn, PHR might be even older and even more stubborn. But it works incredibly well because it keeps the polymer as the anchor of the formulation. So when you read a rubber recipe written in PHR, you are not looking at absolute quantities. You are looking at a set of ratios built around the rubber phase. And once you think of it that way, the whole formulation suddenly becomes much easier to understand. Until next time, stay elastic and stay curious.